Very good evening, Jai Shri Krishna Guru. I hope you had a wonderful day today. Thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayan. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurube Namaha. Shri Sai Satcharita, the life and teachings of Shirdi, Sai Baba. We will be continuing from chapter 29, a narration of stories of dreams. My obeisance to Shri Ganesh, to Shri Saraswati and Shri Guru Maharaj, to the family deity, to Shri Sita Ramachandra, my most humble obeisance, I bow in reverence to the most venerable Guru, Shri Sai Nath. We stopped at verse 47. Just a quick recap. We were doing a story about a troupe which came to meet Baba, and they would be singing bhajans. And the entire troupe had an intention that they will get more money from Sai Baba. But there was one lady from the troupe who was very, very devoted, and she experienced Shri Ram, and she was profusely crying, and everybody is wondering what is happening to her. So let's see what happens now. Verse 48. With numerous such devious thoughts, he derided her. But the lady's spirit was not dampened, for deluding herself was something she knew not. Earlier, she was well known for her spiritual authority and had repeatedly experienced the rapture of Sri Ram Darshan. But later, there arose in her mind the temptation and greed for money, and where there is money, there is no God. Ram Darshan also ceased. Such is the natural result of avarice. Baba knew everything, and knowing fully well that her sinful propensities were completely destroyed, he now gave her Ram Darshan and satisfied her wish. But see the marvel of it. On that same night, the man, her husband, had a terrible dream. While he was asleep, he dreamt that he was in a city and was arrested by a policeman who had tied his arms behind and was standing at the back, pulling up tightly the two ends of the rope with his hands. There, at that same place, was a cell with bars, outside which stood Sai, quietly without a movement, to see what was happening. When he saw Sai standing nearby, in a humble supplicant tone, he then said, with folded hands and piteous face, Baba, when we have come to your feet, on hearing your fame, why then such a calamity, when you are present in person? Maharaj replied, we have to suffer for all the karma that we have done. Very humbly the man said, but I have done no such karma. At least in this birth, I have not done anything that such a calamity should befall me. Maharaj then said, you may have done it in another birth. And the man replied, but what do I know of the previous births? And even if I have done something, it should have been burnt to ashes by your very darshan. Oh my God, this is a very, very important lesson. Karma. And this man asked a very beautiful question. It's a very, very relevant question. And this is a question everybody will ask. What have I done? And why is this happening to me? And I don't know what I have done in my previous birth. Why should I suffer for the karma that has happened in some other life? The answer is very simple. So, there are different kinds of karma. One is your sanchit, which is an accumulated. One is your prarabdha karma, which you have to expend. You are taking this human birth to expend that karma, which you have to suffer for, okay? So you are born as a human being so that you can redeem yourself and finish some of those karma which you have committed in your previous lives. Then comes Agami or Kriyaman. So what is Agami and Kriyaman? Is something which is futuristic, and that can be completely avoided, okay? And this person asked a very interesting question. The moment I have Sai Darshan, my karma should all burn into ashes. But for burning that into ashes, you have to first be Sai devotee. You have to take refuge under the lotus feet of the Guru, and you have to go on the path of spirituality. And this is not easy. People think the karma can be, burnt into ashes so easily. Absolutely not. My Guruji this morning was giving a very beautiful satsang in Bhagavad Gita. And in that, my Guruji said a very, very important thing. See, karma is something that you cannot eliminate. Even the great masters, like example, he gave an example of Samartha Ramdas. He had, in the last stages of Samartha Ramdas Maharaj's life, he had elephantitis. which means he had to suffer and he couldn't walk. Likewise, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa ji, he had the last 4 years of his life, he suffered terribly with throat cancer. So that is all associated with the body. Likewise, my Krishna Guruji has Aclasia cardia. It's a very rare disease, okay? And the body has to suffer. See, they are not connected to the body. My Guruji is Parabrahman. He is Lord Almighty, Lord Shri Krishna himself. He has no association with the body. But because they have manifested in that body, they have to go through that suffering. So, my Guruji just has only 2 meals a day. And for him, he doesn't have the food pipe like all of us have. So he has to manage himself and, push the food inside. So when he eats anything, he has to drink a bottle full of water so that he can push the food inside. So that is how he is managing himself. And most importantly, since he is a spiritual master himself, they know how to conduct themselves because they are living a very, very disciplined life. My Guruji's doctor, who had told him that you're not going to be living more than a month or so, today my Guruji has been living for the last 20 plus years, and every year he'll go visit his doctor and say, hello doctor, I'm still alive. And it's a very cute thing. But jokes apart, but that is the kind of sadhana, that is the kind of greatness, that they, even though the body has its defect, they very beautifully work out through that. But what happens is when the body has defect, right? When they take on more karma that affects the body, so their existence cannot be prolonged. So I always have a fear. The fear is this: I want my Krishna Guruji to stay for longer. What happens when people come to him and even say a word that my sister is suffering with back pain or somebody is suffering with something, please look into it. It naturally comes on my Guruji's body. People do not understand this. At that time, I really get very angry. It's not because I'm against anybody. No, it's my love for my Guruji. I want him to live for many more years on this planet Earth because his existence will give and do goodness for everybody. His presence itself will make magic. He can redeem, he can purify everybody, this entire universe. Wherever his feet falls, there is purity. That sins get washed away. All the negativity removes or, wards off. You can name it, and they purify and sanctify that place. Whenever the great masters visit the temple or even any of the holy places, they are not going there because they have to meet the god. On the contrary, they are going to establish that divinity back in that holy place. So the gods await the feet, for the feet of the saints to touch that holy place. Likewise, Ganga says, it is not that I redeem or remove the sins of this world. My sins are purified and I get purified when the feet of the sage and the great master is dipped in the holy water. That's Ganga in me. That is what Ganga Maya says. So this is the truth. You need to understand this. So coming back to the karma aspect. So please know that there is nobody who is exempted from karma. The prarabdha karma, you have to suffer, whatever that might be the case. But the one thing that can happen is that when you surrender to your great Guruji, when you surrender unto the lotus feet of the Guru, and when you are on the path of spirituality and you do exactly what your Guruji is asking you to do, then he cushions that karma for you. So the impact is felt only 10% of what you will have to be suffering. Please know the greatness of this Guru and never ever discount, when you get to come in his presence itself is good enough for you to purify yourself. Just his one look will eradicate, will do magic. Today I posted a very beautiful update on Facebook. Just one glance of the master will remove all your sins and absolve and pour compassion. The love will ooze from every pore of your being just with that one glance. That is what the great gurus radiate. How sweet is that? Just being in his presence will make you purer. Listening to his satsangs over and over and over and over again, one day you will become that. This evening I was saying a very funny thing to my Guruji. He did a very beautiful lesson in Samarth Ramdas. Das Both of Samat Ramdas, and in that he was doing a lesson on desirelessness. I was telling him, it's been 12 years, I'm listening to the same thing, I'm getting bored. Why doesn't it just enter us and we just have to live it? It's not that you don't understand, but we are so much given into this body, mind, senses, and it's very difficult for us to overcome. But that is why these lessons have to be repeated over and over and over again, a million, billion, and trillion times, till it one day finally hits you. But you know what? By listening to the same satsangs, one day you will become that. That is why it is said you have to always be in the company of the sages and the saints, the holy beings. That is why we call satsangis. Being in the company of the satsangis and doing satsangs, it will purify your heart, your mind, and surrender will happen. You know, every single day, I'm not joking, since the day this Satcharitra that I'm, it's open to me and I'm given this task of reading it and, narrating it, I look forward for this hour. It is the most happiest moment in my day. Throughout the day, I get very frustrated in my material world and I feel just disgusted. There's so much of aversion that happens. I don't know what to do. I become completely dysfunctional. But my Guruji says, no, you cannot have likes and dislikes. In the material world, as the body has certain duties, you have to be absolutely truthful to what you're doing. So you have to continue to do. Yeah, you're going to feel all of that. The aversion will come, you'll get disgusted, you'll feel, what the hell am I doing? All that is going to happen. But without this body, how can you attain God? So the body is so very important. So please note that this body is the temple where you will realize the divinity within yourself. How sweet is that? So we have to go through that, right? Whatever the duties each one has in their life, they will have to do it. So go and do it. Yes, you feel aversion, frustrated, but that's a good sign. You know why? Then you're evolving on the path of spirituality. So somewhere that spiritual grace, the Guru's grace is on you. So you will evolve. And then he'll tell me, no, don't give me this excuse. You're in spiritual for last 12 years. So don't even come and tell me you have likes and dislikes and all. I'm not going to listen. Whatever you have to do it, you have to do it. You don't have a choice. There is no choice. So be good to your job. Be truthful because you're serving me. He'll exactly say this. You're serving me, the Lord Krishna. So work is worship. Be very, very truthful, and also equally or more, be very, very truthful. This subject, the spirituality which you live and breathe. So do justice to everything. Never relax. Never give reasons. So this is what it means. So coming back. How is it then that as soon as we had your darshan, that karma was not reduced to ashes as grass before fire, making me free from it? Maharaj then said to him, but do you at least have that much faith? When the man said yes, he asked him to close his eyes. Obeying the command, even as he stood closing his eyes, he suddenly heard a loud thud, as if someone had fallen down. He was quite startled on hearing it, and at once opened his eyes, only to find that he was set free from the bondage, and instead the policeman had fallen and was covered with blood. He panicked and began to look at Baba. With a smile, Maharaj said to him, it is well that you are going to be caught now. The police officers will come, and on seeing what has happened here, you alone will be found to be wild and uncontrollable, which will result in your being arrested once again. In all earnestness, the man replied, Baba, what you say is very true. Oh, please do anything but release me now. I see no other protector except you. When he heard this, Sai said to him, close your eyes once again. And when he did so and opened them again, he saw another marvel. This time, he saw himself out of the cage with Maharaj Sai near him. He prostrated before Baba in obeisance. Baba asked him, the salutation that you made just now and the ones that you used to make before, is there any difference between the two? Just think and tell me. The man replied, oh, the difference is great, as between heaven and earth. My earlier salutations were purely out of greed for money, but now it is as to God himself. Earlier, I had no faith. On the contrary, I had a grudge in my mind that yourself being a Muslim, you were polluting us, the Hindus. So Baba said, do you not have devotion in your mind for the deities of the Muslims? The man said, no. Baba then asked him, do you not have the Panja at home, and do you not worship it on the day of the Tabut? Ask yourself. And you also have card bibi. in your house, and during the wedding celebrations, do you not propitiate her, a Muslim deity, by worshipping her with due honors? The man admitted by saying yes. And when asked what other wish he had, he expressed his keen desire for the darshan of his own Guru, Ram Das. Maharaj then asked him to turn back and see. When he did so, he saw in front of him Samarth Ram Das in person. Oh my God, how sweet is that? This is so beautiful. Can you believe? See, one of the most important things you need to understand here is that your Guruji will never ever, the real master will never say that you should leave your Guru or the Ishta, right? Ishta is the one you love within yourself the most. Whoever that is your idol rather, who you believe. It could be Lord Krishna, it could be Shri Ram, it could be Buddha, it could be Allah, it could be Jesus. Anybody, everybody is one alone. So whoever the Ishta of yours is, when you have that within your heart, that you believe this is who I love, right? The great masters will always confer back the faith in that Guru of yours or that the God of yours. He's never going to say you have to follow me. You can have the grace from him. Definitely he's going to have the grace on you. But please know that he will bless you, he will do everything. But he will establish that faith back in your own Guru. And he will give you the darshan of the Guru or the God that you're experiencing. I don't know how many more examples I can give that I have experienced in my Krishna Guruji. Any God that I want to experience, I can see it in my Krishna Guruji. But that is the faith that you need to have. I'll give you a very beautiful experience, which again we had along with my Krishna Guruji. So this was in Chennai. We went to St. Thomas Church, okay? And over there, it is believed, it's not believed, where St. Thomas had chipped a cross with his own hand. While doing it, he injured, and there was no blood. The blood had poured from his hand, and it fell on the cross. And it is mentioned in the story that every year, I think during the Christmas, they can see the blood still bleeds from that cross. So this is what I read, and my Guruji also had narrated this very beautiful story about St. Thomas. And when we went over there, it was a Sunday afternoon, I still remember, and there was hardly anybody in the church. It was a very, very beautiful church. You can just, in the presence of the divinity was so strong. And my Guruji had a camera with him and he was taking pictures. The pictures were allowed. And what he did was, suddenly, there was this cross, so he wanted to take a photo of the cross. When he just focused, and before you press, the lens focuses on that object, right? The cross, it was focusing. When he did that, before the click, oh my God, he says, oh my God, he did. And I'm like, what happened? What happened? He says, I don't know if you will be able to see, but let's see what happens. Take this and see see if you can see. He just said that, but I don't know what do I want to see? I don't know. So I took the camera from his hand and I focused. Oh my God, I started crying. You know what I saw? The blood. Wherever that blood had dropped, where he had blood and the blood had poured on that, on the cross, exactly from that, I could see the blood. I was speechless. I was in tears. This is the love. This is the grace. So as is your faith, so are your experiences. And I couldn't speak anything beyond that. But when you clicked the photo, you couldn't see that. But when I held it, I could see the blood in that. Oh my God, that was the most beautiful experience. So to say that this is not false, that is the truth. Yes, but who can see? It's only with the grace, only with the faith, So everybody's eyes cannot see this truth. Only those who have that utmost faith in the divinity and the Guru. Here Baba says, how much faith do you have in me? That absolute faith in your Guru is what will give you that experience. Please know this. It is not just saying I have faith, but that faith has to be within and you have to demonstrate it. Demonstrate means you have to live it. So coming back here, Maharaj then asked him to turn back and see. When he did so, he saw in front of him Samarth Ramdas in person. But as he fell at his feet, Samarth Ramdas disappeared there and then. The man then began to ask Baba something out of curiosity. Baba, you are advanced in years and your body too looks old. Do you know your lifespan? What do you say? that I look old, just try running with me. So saying, Sai Baba began to run, and the man ran after him. But Maharaj ran faster and faster, raising a cloud of dust behind him. In that moment, Maharaj vanished and the man woke up. When he was fully awake and began to think of his situation in the dream, at once his mind was transformed and he began to praise Baba's greatness. See, if the Divine Master need to give you the grace and establish your faith in him, he will do it in any manner. So here it is a vision, here it is in a dream. Likewise, it could happen in real time as well. So you cannot comprehend the ways of the workings of the great master. How do they do it? Why they do it? And why the grace is also on you. So that is the most beautiful aspect. And I think in the earlier chapters, it is very beautifully mentioned. The most important thing that the great gurus do is they give everybody an opportunity to come on the path of righteousness. Because that is all they care about, the spiritual weal of everybody, the well-being of everybody. See, today my Guruji ended this beautiful satsang, his satsang in the evening, with saying you have to become dispassionate, become desireless, learn to discriminate, and also most important thing, be your good self. This is the lesson day one he's been teaching all of us. Why should we act in mean manner? There is no need to be mean, there is no need to be bad to someone. Why are we so mean, wicked? We don't have to have that, that evil propensities or the negative tendencies that we have within us. Why can't we be our good self? See, the God and the demon both reside within us alone. When you are good, when you are your good self, when you are kind, compassionate, loving, caring, forgiving, all these are the qualities or the good propensities of a sattvic being, the divine being. So it is in you to inculcate those qualities and evolve on the path of spiritual, of being godly, of becoming divine. So my Guruji used a very beautiful word yesterday in one of the satsangs. He says, godliness equals to goodliness. It's a beautiful word that he came up with. Yeah, you have to be good. Why are we mean? My Guruji will always keep rehashing the same one lesson to me on and on and on, because I'll get very angry when somebody behaves in some way or say something, okay? Whether it is bad or good. The one thing my Guruji teaches is, why are you getting swayed? It doesn't matter what the other person does. It is for you to be always your good self. Never leave your goodness, no matter whatever the other person does. It doesn't matter. They are ignorant being. You are with me for 12 years. You are learning this beautiful knowledge and I need you to be good. Doesn't matter. They can even slap you. They can stab you in your back. They can do whatever bad they can do. Let them do. They are allowed to do, because they do not understand. You understand. So you be your good self. So whether it is I have a spiritual knowledge or not, it doesn't matter. The whole point I'm driving home here is that we all have been taught to be good. Okay, the word is goodness. I don't think you need to be spiritual to be good. So this is the whole important lesson that you need to understand. Be good and you will otherwise as well evolve on the path of being divine. That is what it is. So only when you have goodness can you become godly. Otherwise you cannot. So coming back. Having seen Baba's wonderful Leela, he developed faith and devotion towards Baba. The earlier state of doubts and misgivings about Baba disappeared altogether. It was really just a dream, but listening to the answers and those questions, the listener should grasp the deep significance of them. From this dialogue of questions and answers, the gentleman learned a most valuable lesson. His antagonism towards Sai melted away through humor and laughter. How sweet. Just imagine, through humor and laughter. But we make it so bitter. Why do we need to make it bitter? Can we also be humorous? Can we laugh it away? Can we just ignore it sometimes and just make it very light? Next day in the morning, they all came to the mosque and darshan for Sai darshan. In his kindness, gave them barfi of 2 rupees. Baba also gave them 2 rupees from his own pocket and made them stay on for a few days more, which they spent in worshipping him and singing bhajans. Some days passed thus. Those people were now ready to leave. Although they did not get much money, they were blessed amply. Allah Malik will give you plenty. Allah will bless you. And it was this that stood them in good stead later, when they were on their way, with Sai's blessings and with Sai's name in their heart and mind day and night. As they proceeded along their way, they did not encounter any hardships or sufferings, even in their dreams. This is very sweet, just these words when Baba is saying, I just cannot stop crying. He said, what he's saying, you don't need money from the Gurus, just the word from the Guru's mouth is so beautiful. It'll remove everything. All your difficulties will ward off. Such is the power of the greatness of the words of your Guru, that blessing. You need to be very, very lucky to, get that blessings. How beautiful it is. Let me reread this for you. It says, Allah Malik will give you plenty. Allah will bless you. How sweet is that? Just these words. The power of those words from Baba's mouth is the greatest thing that you can ever have. Every single day, my Guruji, before I start the satsang, we do our prayers, and after that he'll come and say, wish you all the best, do well. It feels like every single day I'm going for a test, I'm writing one examination. So before I start my satsang, my Guruji will bless, and I'll pray every single day, Baba, let the words be of your wisdom. Let the stories flow from my mouth, the teachings come from my mouth, whatever that you ordain. And I pray to my Guruji, let me always make you proud of, making me who I am. Let the world know Lord Shri Krishna through me, and your greatness of who you are as Krishna Guruji. To me, that is all I care about. I never want to let my Guruji down, ever. To me, he must say, someday, I'll always say this, I need to live just 1% of who you are. That is all I aspire. To live every value, every goodness, every discipline. He's a personification of everything that exists in this universe. All the goodness, the perfectness. He's a perfect being, absolutely perfect being. He's a knowledge incarnate, Sachidanand, that Sat-Chid Anand he is. His knowledge is phenomenal. He's amazing. He's so learned. His passion to learn, study, even today, I just get, I don't know, there's no words. I'm amazed, at his capability. My Guruji will just say this, you have not tried, you have not done. You also have the same thing, but you need to put in that effort. So every single day, he'll give me his blessings and say, go do it, go do it. He'll say, don't say it from your mouth. See, the moment you utter, right, this you will exactly not deliver it. So he'll always say, do it quietly. Don't speak about it. Don't say I did it also. It's not relevant. When you understand the purpose, when you understand the divine Almighty Lord, you will shut up that saying that I did this. That ego will vanish. It'll go away. You just have to quietly do it, selflessly. Nishkama karma is what he keeps teaching. And you just have to quietly do, and you will keep progressing. That which has to open up for you, it will open up. So this is the greatness of the great masters. That blessing alone is enough for everything to turn magic in your world. You don't know the power of the blessing they carry. The words, when they come from their mouth, I'll always tell my Guruji, don't say something, like this. It's so funny, because anything that he says will come to be. So I'll say, please wait, don't say something. I'll tell you a very funny thing that happened. This is in a different context altogether. But yes, the words are his. I will say those are his blessings. Okay. So many years ago, when I actually first met my Guruji, I was skin and bones. Okay. I always used to get cold every quarter. I used to feel sick. I used to keep vomiting. Had too much of acidity sort of kind of thing within me. So I no matter how much I would eat, I wouldn't eat a lot, but I was a very poor eater. But I had this thing about, I will not eat this, I will not eat that, I don't like this, I don't like this. And you know what? Just 2 chapatis and a little sabji and a little rice, or just only 2 chapatis will take me an hour to eat. Okay. So this was my case when I met my Guruji. With gradually over years, and one day I still remember, but I don't know where, when and how, he just said, you need to put on weight. You need to be 56 kilos. Okay, the number was 56 kilos. Just he said this. And after that, I had in 20 12, the whole year, I was really sick. I didn't know what was going on. I lost terrible amount of weight. All that madness happened. And after all that, in 2013, slowly, he said, you will be fine. All, I don't know how many doctors I had visited. What was wrong with me? There was nothing wrong. I was perfectly fine. All my reports were just normal. And since then, my Guruji started making me eat everything. He slowly, even then I would be cranky and say, no, I don't like this. I don't, I used to keep name for everything. I'm a very bad person in that capacity. I don't like this. I'll only eat like this. So then he started introducing different kinds of food, teaching me how I need to eat a holistic meal. Initially it was very tough and he had to give a peace of mind to me. But later, as I started slowly understanding why he's saying, and as he taught me why you have to eat a holistic meal, how you need to eat to stay healthy, and slowly, I started, becoming happier. I started eating. Then I put on weight. Finally, what I ate literally stuck to my body. So I started putting on weight. And when I was, I think by 2015 or exactly, 2015 or 2016, 2015, when I checked my weight, I was like 56 kilos. I'm like, Krishna Ma, I'm 56. Oh my God, I remember you said I need to be 56. Oh, wow. So it took 3 years for me to get there. It's not about the weight, it's about becoming healthy. I was skin and bones. I was underweight. I was 45 kgs or 46 kgs. It was horrible. And then slowly I was able to become healthier. So this is what happens. The words of your guru, just the word makes that thing happen. So his blessings from his mouth is so powerful. That is what I'm coming to say. It's just giving you this one experience. I'll give you many more as we journey through this beautiful scripture, these stories. There'll be many stories like this I will share with you. So let's continue now. As Versai's blessings, so did they complete many pilgrimages to their satisfaction without facing any trouble on the way, and returned home safely. Not only did they make all the pilgrimages they had planned, but many more besides. And as they praised the marvel of Sai's words, they were filled with indescribable joy. Moreover, the saint's benediction, Allah will bless you, came true to the letter, and all their desires were satisfied. Absolutely. Whenever the divine masters say, bless you, God bless you, Allah bless you, whatever that they say, right, those words are very powerful. They potent, those words from their mouth carry so much power. It's full of blessings, and you will not encounter any hardships in your life. It'll all ward off. And there are people who might say, oh yes, I also came, but I didn't experience and I'm suffering. See, the power of the blessing is always there. The reason that you are suffering, that is, you have to overcome that karma. The karma is anyway going to be, but the impact is going to be only 10%. That is exactly what I'm saying. But you can't understand this. Such is the greatness of these gurus. The power of their words, the blessing that comes from their mouth is so powerful. And you need to be really, really blessed to get that. Such were those pilgrims from Madras, righteous and virtuous, devoted to God, whose Redeemer Sai became. I shall tell you another story which is equally interesting, and if the listeners listen with attention, they will be quite amazed. Most compassionate, wish-fulfilling Kalpavriksha that Sai is, it will be seen now how untiringly he always fulfills the wishes of his loving devotees. Bandra city, now a suburb of Mumbai, is in Thane district. A devotee from there, Raghunath Rao Tendulkar by name, was a man of sharp intellect, solemn nature and great learning. This is a story about my Guruji's great-grandfather, Raghunath Rao Tendulkar, and Babu is his grandfather. Oh my God, I'm so blessed to even, be associated with my Guruji's lineage, because can you believe that he had some of his great grandparents and grandfather who lived with Baba. It is a very beautiful association. It's a blessing. So let's see what the story is about. Raghunath Rao Tendulkar by name was a great man of sharp intellect, solemn nature, and great learning. Always cheerful and a loving devotee, he was engrossed at Sai's lotus feet, ceaselessly chanting Baba's name, hoping to hear Baba's honey-sweet words of instruction. It was he who composed the Bhajan Mala. In fact, if you remember, earlier in my satsang, I think in chapter 2 or chapter 3, I can't remember, I showed the original Bhajan Mala Poti which they had composed. We have a copy of it, the original one. Describing Sai's Leela in it. He who reads it with love and devotion will see in it Sai at every step. And believe this particular book is written in Prakrit. It is the Marathi language, that is what it is written in. Savitri was the name of his wife, and Babu was their eldest son. So Raghunath Rao Tendulkar and Savitri Bai Tendulkar were my Guruji's, Krishna Guruji's great grandparents, and Babu Tendulkar was my Guruji's grandfather. Once this was their eldest son, just listen to their strange experience and Sai's Leela. Once, this Babu, who had the benefit of Western medical education from a medical college, was so filled with doubts and misgivings that he would not appear for examination. He had studied hard, burning the midnight oil, and had casually asked an astrologer whether he would pass the examination. Turning over the pages of the Panchang, the astrologer examined the planetary position, counting on his fingers the stars, the zodiac signs, etc., looking quite grave and concerned. He said, "You have studied very hard, but this year the planetary position is not favorable. The next year is good, and the examination will undoubtedly be passed in that year. What is the use of appearing for the examination if all the effort is going to be in vain?" Though the startled student who had taken a dread in his mind. Later, after some time, the mother of the student had gone to Shirdi. She bowed her head at Sai's feet, and he inquired after the well-being of all. During the conversation, the topic of the examination came up. Amid other things, when she said to Baba in a piteous tone, "Baba, the boy would have appeared for exam had the stars been favorable." The astrologers had seen the horoscope and predicted that there was no chance of success this year. Hence, though well prepared, the boy is not going for the exam. "Baba, what is the planetary conflagration? Why such disappointment this year? We were all hoping that once and for all, this exam may be passed." On hearing this, Baba said, "Tell him to listen to me. Say that I have said to roll up and keep aside that horoscope and go and appear for the exam with his mind at rest. Tell him that do not be taken in by anybody. Do not show the horoscope or rely on these palmists, and to carry on his studies resolutely. Tell the boy, you will succeed. You should appear for the exam with a relaxed mind and do not get dejected. Have full faith in me." Then, taking leave of Baba, the mother returned to her place and conveyed Baba's message to the boy, eagerly assuring him of his absolute faith. Encouraged by Sai's words, the boy appeared for the exam and answered the questions in the written papers within the stipulated time. The written examination was over. He had answered the questions fully, but then his self-confidence gave way and the hitreto, steady mind, began to waver and doubt. He had written the answers well enough to pass the exam, but the boy felt it was not enough and he gave up hope. He began to feel that he had failed, and when in fact he had passed the written test, he became so dejected that he just would not appear for the oral exam. The oral exam began. The first day passed in the same dejected state. On the next day, a friend came and saw this boy sitting down for his meal. The friend said, "Oh, what a wonder of wonders. Do you know that the examiner himself is anxious for you and has said go and see why Tendulkar did not come yesterday?" I told him frankly that he had failed in the written exam and is sitting at home dejected. That why should he take the trouble of appearing for the orals? So the examiner said, "You go and bring him as he is. Give him the glad news that he has passed in the written exam." Who can describe the joy that this news produced? Praying to Maharaj Sai for help, he eagerly ran to appear for the orals without losing a moment. Later, everything turned out well for him. He passed the exam. Thus, by satisfying his wish, Sai only confirmed his faith in himself. But as the handle of the quern is to be moved round and round in the hole to fix it tightly, so is also the case with one's faith in the Guru. Sai strengthened it by turning it round and round to fix it. Not once did he say anything to anyone which did not touch their hearts. Such was the usual experience with Baba. That is how he confirmed their faith. Oh my God, how beautiful it is. First, it is such a great thing for me to be reading a beautiful story about my great grandparents of my Krishna Guruji and his grandfather. It is so beautiful because they had the experience to be in the presence of Sai Baba. I'm so blessed. So the next thing here, Baba says a very important lesson. Astrology, palmistry, stop believing in all these things. Please, I am a great example in my own life. I think I've narrated the story, but I'm going to narrate all over again. And this time a very interesting story. So I visited n number of astrologers, pretty much, and the palm, not palmistry, but this is the palm leaf reader. I've seen him. I've done all sorts of, they call it pariharam. Pariharam means you go and do some kind of puja rituals in a particular temple in a particular manner with certain offerings. You have to do all those things with the faith that whatever your planetary positions that is unfavorable will ward off and you will get success. Whatever that you wish, your desires will be fulfilled. Now, in this very interesting case, the three things was very prime. Three important things were critical to me in my life. One was my career, my marriage, and I wanted to be somebody very famous in this world. Okay, so but life was not all that. Life was too difficult. Things were not the way it was. I used to be a very miserable human being. I was dejected. And okay, before that, I'll give you in a similar context what happened to me back before during my college days. Before I joined my before I entered myself into my graduate course, I'll tell you what had happened. One step back. I don't remember where this was, but I think vaguely remember. I finished my 12th and I was getting into my, I was getting into my course for graduation. I took up commerce, that's BCom. Before that, I think my brother had gone to Chidambaram. I can't remember whether it's Chidambaram. I think it is Chidambaram. He had visited with my cousins. And then what happened was he met a few astrologers over there. And then he was very curious to know what is my life going to be. So I think the person had predicted like a life, what is going to be my future, my education and all that. And in that, he had mentioned that I will never be able to graduate because I will fail. Okay, this was what it was mentioned. So my brother comes home and he plays this about his life, my life, and I think few others who had been with him. So he tells my mother, okay, the astrologer has predicted that she will fail. She will not be able to study at all. So this thought literally hit me really hard. But somewhere I had this conflicting view. I said, I don't believe in all this crap. It doesn't matter what someone says. Fail, it depends all on me. If I work hard and if I study hard, I will pass. Why should I believe in all these things? But you know what? That little thought somewhere kept hankering in my back, but I didn't pay attention to it. I said, no, I will study hard. I am very capable. I will do well. So this was my faith. And then I enrolled for whatever. I finished my 12th. I took up the course and I started really studying hard. I signed up for tuitions, everything. But I had a very strange problem in my life. For whatever reason, exams were, I would be fine before the exams. I would have prepared well. I would study hard, all that I would do. 3 days before the exam, invariably, I will fall sick. It was nothing but, it's called exam fever. It's the fear. The fear of, I should be the topper. The fear of not getting good marks. That fear would constantly haunt me. So throughout my life, I would always fall sick before the exam. Even in my college, what happened was, I studied hard. I've really done well. In the sense, I prepared that I will get a very good percentage. I will get first class and I will do well. But the problem with me was the fear. So when I would see the question paper, I would know the answers because I have prepared so well. But because of fear, my mind would blank out when I would write the exam. And this is a very interesting thing, but I was not able to come and express what is happening to me at, with my parents, but I would share with my mom though. She'll say, it's okay, you worked hard and don't worry, you will do well. But the point was, my first 2 years, I was shortage of one mark less for my first class. I was completely dejected. And at that time, I remembered this astrologer having told, oh, probably this is why I've not done well. But it was not the case. It's purely because I was afraid, the fear. And because of the fear, my mind would blank out. This is exactly what would happen. And when I come out of the examination hall, I said, no, I knew the answer. I knew everything, but why did I do this? So it is my mind which is the problem. It is not about any astrology. It's no planetary positions, all that nonsense. It is only to do with my mind. It's my self-confidence. It is me who had this fear, which is again unreal. It is only the creation of the mind. So the next thing, what happened was, luckily, the marks, the way in in BCom, the way the marks were calculated was the aggregation of all the 3 years of the core subjects that I had taken. So final year, somehow my goal was I have to cross whatever that total was so that I could get a first class honors degree. So that was my ambition, that was my goals, and I worked really, really, really hard, and God's grace and with all that effort, but I was able to achieve that. I was still not happy because I could have done better. My percentage was, yes, I got an honors degree, but it didn't mean anything. I know that I could have got in 90s or 80s, but I was somewhere in 60s, which was still not happy for me. Okay, yes, I got a first class honors degree. But the point here was, had I believed in that thing that, okay, this astrologer has said and I'm going to fail, I wouldn't have ever gone ahead in my life. The point is that all these things you need to give up. And please remember, there is no astrology, there is no palmistry, nothing. None of these things work, okay? So if you believe in it, it comes true. But when you don't believe in it, nothing happens. Whatever you're destined as per your karma, you are going to be blessed with that alone. There is nothing more, there is nothing less. And when you have the grace of the divine, when the grace of the guru is there, you will sail through all of that and you will succeed. Similarly is the case, I still remember after joining IBM, I think in one of those this is the year exactly I met my guru. 1 year before that, in 2008, I was trying to take this exam, the certification. It's called the project management certification. And by the way, I've never liked doing a project management, but yes, I took up that role just to learn what project management is all about. So they said, you will have added advantage if you do this certification. So I also gave it a try. I flunked first time, I flunked second time because my mind was not tuned to do something like that, because for that you have to be able to go with that principles exactly how they are mentioned. You can't use your mind and come up with your own way of answering it. So that was not my cup of tea, okay? So in that year, in when I met my Guruji, and after that I said, okay, I'm going to give one more attempt. And that time I told him I'm going to give this exam certification, right? I went and paid all the money and I flunked. I still remember I called him right after the test. You know what, I failed again. I'm literally in tears, I lost a lot of money. So my Guruji said, you feel let down, right? But don't worry, it's okay, everything happens for the good, let it be, don't bother. At this moment in time, I know you don't have faith in me, but just you will value it much later in life. So I didn't understand what he meant, but yes, I know everything happens the way it has to happen. So it's okay, people think I was a failure at that time, it's perfectly fine, so be it. And then I moved on. So even recently I was reminded about this incident, and then my Guruji said she had paid a lot of money, 3 times she flunked this exam. But that's how it works. It's very beautiful. But you know what? I do not regret any of these things, but they are all a beautiful experience in your life to progress alone. This is very important. So don't go after trying to believe into astrology, palmistry, any of this. Have faith in yourself. Know that you can do anything when you put your mind and when you focus on it. This is one thing my Guruji has taught. You have to have absolute focus. You need to concentrate on the subject, and when you put your heart and soul and study, you will succeed. Nobody can stop, and you will get what you want to get, what you want to achieve. But how much hard work are you putting in? That is what will be the results. Similarly, today, my Guruji every single time will say, you need to study this, you need to prepare for this, And even the Satcharitra, before I start, I will sit and see what are the stories, what is that I need to speak about, and are there some tough words. You have to go with preparation. Doesn't mean it's a satsang, there's magic going to happen and everything will open up. No, the effort is very important. Even if these words are of my Guruji's wisdom, the words are coming from his wisdom, I have to still put an effort to learn. And this is something he's always taught. Even my master, he's God Almighty, he's knowledge incarnate, but yet he will sit and prepare. He teaches us, he sets himself as an example by doing that, so that we all can follow him. So we'll say, oh, my Guruji is doing, and I have to feel ashamed if I don't do. Every single day I feel I fall short. But he'll very sweetly say, no, you're doing, but you strive, you put effort, you try harder, and you will be able to do it. Empower that goddess within you. Devi Mahatmyam, you are that goddess, and empowerment, the greatness of this Devi is understood in this Devi Mahatmyam, how she empowers herself. And just with that, I'm going to say we will be soon starting Devi Mahatmyam. I'll be putting up this announcement. Please feel free to join. And those who want to come here in person are welcome to join for the Devi Mahatmyam Parayan, which will start very soon, sometime next week. I'll put the dates up. Looking forward to it. And in that you'll understand how to overcome all these demons within you. These demons are, I can't do, I am the one who's suffering, I don't know, we give reasons, and lethargy, inertia. So all these are demons. So you have to empower yourself. Spirituality is all about that you are this goddess, to understand who you truly are, and then evolve, go beyond this mind, body, senses, and transcend the three gunas. And then only you can attain the Lord Almighty, and by empowering yourself to do what you are ordained to do as part of this human existence. Sorry for taking it too long, but it's very important that you understand. This is a very, very important subject. We all get entangled into this mesh some way or the other, because we cannot cope up with life and what we are facing, but face life with guts and accept that which you have to go through, and just surrender. Prayer and faith are only two answers to evolve on this path very beautifully, and not get bogged down by what's happening in your world. Just surrender to the will of the divine. Lord, do what is right for me. Just surrender. You know how beautiful it is, and Lord will sail through you. So coming back, you know what, I can keep going on stories after stories. No, let us continue here. Okay, we stop here. So later, everything turned out well for him. He passed the exam. Absolutely. So Sai strengthened it, turning it round and round to fix it. Not once did he say anything to anyone which did not touch their hearts. Such was the usual experience with Baba. That is how he confirmed their faith. Treading on the path suggested by him, everything is pleasurable to begin with, but later that path will be so overspread with thorny shrubs that there will be only thorns on all sides. Faith then begins to waver. The mind is easily swayed by doubts and starts wondering why Sai brings it to this bypath. And it is then when you feel thus that your faith should remain steadfast. These difficulties are the real test, and that is how an unshakable faith is firmly planted. I think you got your answer. Why do you have to go through all of that? The path is going to be very difficult. That's exactly what my Guruji asked me, right? Oh, so you failed once again. So you mean you don't trust in me, right? You feel cheated. You feel left out. No, not at all. It is all meant to be. So here it's very beautifully mentioned, right? That there will be only thorns on all sides, but you have to go through that. Once you go through, your faith is established very firmly. Unshakable faith will be established. These difficulties are the real test, and that is how an unshakable faith is firmly planted. By facing the hardship squarely with the ceaseless chant of Sai's name, all the calamities will disappear. Such is the tremendous power of Naam. And this is the main purpose behind these obstacles, for they too are created by Sai, and it is only then that Sai is remembered. The troubles also vanish only then. How beautiful it is. We only remember God during the trouble times, not otherwise. Otherwise, we are so lost. Oh, I want to eat this. Oh, let's go shopping. Let's watch a movie. We're so happy in our life. We don't remember God. No. God is the first thing you have to always remember. No matter what you have money, you don't have money, it doesn't matter. You don't have to remember God in difficult times. Actually, this reminds me of what Kunti said to Lord Shri Krishna. She said, there's a very beautiful chapter about Kunti in Srimad Bhagavatam, where she says, Lord Krishna, please give me more difficulties. I want every life to suffer. Can you believe somebody's asking for suffering? And so that I can always remember. How sweet is that? So sweet. And then she knows that Lord himself will solve all the problems for her. How powerful. That is called the power of devotion. That is called the power of faith in your Ishta, in your Lord Almighty. And it was the father of the same boy who was a great devotee of Baba, Raghunath Rao Tendulkar. Is a great devotee of Baba, who is Babu's father. Very loving, solemn, generous and righteous. But now his bodily organs had become enfeebled. He had faithfully served in a well-known foreign trading company in Mumbai city. Later, as he became old, the eyesight became weak and the bodily organs became impaired in their functioning. He now began to wish for complete rest. There was no strength left to do any work, so to improve his health, Raghunath Rao took leave and enjoyed peace and quiet. Then leave came to an end, and yet he did not feel fully rested, so he wrote an application praying for an extension of that leave. On seeing the application, his immediate boss recommended the expected extension of his leave. The chief officer of the company was very kind and considerate. When the master is large-hearted, out of consideration for the loyal, honest servant, he lovingly offers him half of his salary as pension to provide for his future. Such is the government practice, which is also followed by the best of the companies as an encouragement to their honest servants when the occasion requires it. But Tendulkar was worried, thinking, will my master give this pension when I retire from service? My salary is only rupees 150 and the whole burden of sustenance will fall on my pension of rupees 75. Such thoughts revolved in his mind. But what came past later was most interesting. Just see Baba's Leela. Listen to his marvel as he was engaged in a loving dialogue with Raghunath Rao's wife, that is Savitri Bai Tendulkar, about matters of her family interests. There were still 15 days for the final order on his pension to be passed when Baba appeared in her dream and asked her opinion. It is my wish to give him rupees 100 as pension. Will that satisfy your wish? The lady said, what is this that you say, Baba? Why do you ask this? We have full faith in you and you alone. How sweet, right? There, a resolution was passed on the application that Raghunath Rao is a loyal servant who has served us for a long time to date. Therefore, he should be given a pension of half his salary. And although Baba had mentioned 100, he added 10 rupees more. Such is this kind-hearted Sai Samarth, who has boundless love for his devotees. We are already end of the hour, so I don't want to start another story here. So we'll stop here and we will begin the new story tomorrow. But just I want to make a couple of points here. When you have absolute faith in your great master, whatever he has to give you, it'll be the best thing. He cares about your well-being. He knows what is right for you. How beautifully my Guruji's great-grandparents and grandfather had served more than my Guruji's grandfather. It's his great-grandparents had absolute faith. Through this story, it is so beautifully explained how ardent devotees they were of Sai Baba, and Sai Baba had taken care of all of their well-being, including his Raghunath Rao's Tendulkar's son, Babu Tendulkar, when he did not have faith that he would pass the exam, but just because they were devoted to Baba, Baba took care all of this and conferred faith in himself and gave him the self-confidence that he can go and do it. This is the greatness of Sai Baba. Those who believe in their gurus, the guru will never let you down. You need to know that. Have that absolute faith in your guru. That is all you need, and you will see magic happening at all times. So here we'll stop at verse 144. Tomorrow we'll continue with 145 with a new story. Thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayan, and I wish you enjoyed today's lesson. See you all tomorrow. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Digambara Digambara Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Guru Nathanatha Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru.